Hey everybody, bet you didn't expect me to see me on a weekday. Feels so alien considered. I kinda lapsed inadvertently into the weekend slots, Saturday and Sunday. This used to be more natural for me, but well, life works in mysterious ways. But I'm happy to report that my schedule lately has been a little more lenient, so here we are with a little something different. And before the questions rise, Shant, is this another one of your bullshit segments? Kinda, maybe, sorta. It was sort of inspired by a certain streamer by the alias of DNO, pronounced Dino, I believe, who made a Polish themed Amiga segment. And one particular game, from what I found out, has modern day Steam release that is free, inspired by the same concept, but it's not quite the same thing. I will explain as we go. So, let's get down to business, shall we? The first game is called Janosik, and it is actually inspired by a historical figure. This gentleman right here. Now, Janosik is a character deeply pertaining to Slovak history. However, his name is also recognized in the Czech Republic and Poland. He was a highwayman operating in the Habsburg Empire of the 17th century, I believe. So, yeah, quite a bit from now. And there are many legends surrounding this character. However, the reason why he became such a prominent figure in history is he was kind of a Robin Hood-esque figure. Namely, he and his group of folks would rob the rich and then distribute the goods to the poor and also just help people in need. Their range was pretty much all across the Habsburg monarchy, ranging as far as Moldavia, but they also made excursions north up to Poland, which is why the tale of Janosik has spread pretty much across 3 countries and managed to influence popular media. You wouldn't believe just how many movies this character had in Poland back in the day. Particularly one full-length movie from the 70s and a TV series. The main lead being played by Marek Perepeczko here on the mid-left with the luscious long hair that this actor used to sport when he was a fine young gentleman. But he was actually a very good fit for the role because Janosik was said to be a burly man, so it's one way to portray your character somewhat historically accurate. Now, he is particularly popular with the mountain men that live in the Carpathian region, specifically the Tatra parts. Probably because Janosik was a mountain man himself, as implied by his clothing, which you can see right here. If you compare it to a typical mountain man from Poland, you can definitely see the similarities in design right here. And despite some regional differences, and obviously the mountain men of Slovakia, Czech Republic, and Poland speak all their respective languages, albeit with their distinct accents and slang, they all do recognize Janosik as sort of a legend, but also sort of a heroic figure. Even in terms of gaming, this character right here had a couple of iterations. Dino played the old Amiga game, but during the stream, I found out that there was actually a free Steam release from 2 years ago, so the tale is still alive and well, and it looks very fun. Most importantly, it's free. So don't mind if I do indulge in some video. Now then, without further ado, let me boot this up and we may as well get going. It is a 2D platformer styled as a Metroidvania game with retro-style graphics, and this style of screen alone screams soul to me. It's got a particular aesthetic going for it, and I respect that. Good. I can't have a Slavic game without piss in it. Trust me, when we jump to Franko later, it's not gonna get any better. That's the second game of tonight, but we'll leave that for later. That's a good ass sheep. Am I gonna have to play the Tekken sheep stage theme again? I can already see the castle of the scoundrel Count von Jur, the bastard thought of setting ambushes. I'll show him the ambush. I'm just afraid that he will start torturing my comrades before I can free them. Now, obviously, when you're a highwayman running a group of thugs at that, you're gonna run into trouble with authorities. Janosik and his lads were not much different. Eventually, he got caught and sentenced to death. The execution, I believe, was carried out through hanging, although that is also subject of legends. Apparently, he went out with a bang. Gotta have that little bit of mysticism. Is there a map system? I don't have a map of this place. Maybe. If I get lucky enough to find one. Already got hit. Very promising. Ah, looky here, we got secrets. Read the map. I see a potential weapon upgrade up there. I would love very much to acquire it. Those spikes have some very mean hitboxes. Okay, I immediately die on the first screen. If this is modeled after old school Metroidvanias, then there might be a difficulty curve. I mean, I don't mind. I've got the whole classic collection under my belt, so I am used to a little bit of bull every now and then. So long as it's not US Castlevania levels of memery. A little too early to tell, but so far the first impressions are positive. It's got a charming, retro-styled aesthetic. The music playing in the background is nice. Certainly brings me closer to home. Whenever you hear that old-timey flute, you know you're in Central/Eastern Europe. Doggo? I don't want to necessarily harm the doggo. Oh. Well, one shot, one kill. We also have items. So I better try sticking to those health regen potions. I know these are supposed to be sheep, but a very specific angle, especially if you look from the left onto the right, they look like fish. I wonder if I can roll past those projectiles. Dear boss, it's good to see you. Can you take these shackles off me? Okay, I'll cut it soon. When I free you, run away to our secret hideout in the mountains. Yes, boss. We gotta free our bros. A little bit of metal slug happening. Ah, the not bonfire of the game. I see. Come now. It's a very established mechanic these days. I don't think these piranhas, or what are they, anglefish? Anglerfish? Are historically accurate to the area, but don't worry about it. It's fine. Okay, good thing I went by the checkpoint, because it would have been pretty salty if I had to start all over again. It's a bit of floatiness to the swimming. And once you run out of air, no mercy. But I want that health upgrade by the looks of it. So let's take this a little patiently. Too bad I can't swing my sword underwater. That would have been great help. Never mind, that was just a health restoration item. A little disappointing. But I guess we're doing the free card, no upgrade run, question mark? It all depends if you do get health booster, huh? Take it nice and slow. Don't rush it. Pop those air bubbles Sonic style. Oh, look at that. The enemies came back. So... okay, I can save as many times as I want. It's good to know. Now, did I explore everything? I think that's one big area down there that I need to find the entryway to. Good. Well-timed jump. Well, at least it's pretty generous on the checkpoints. Okay, I have been here, however... no. I've seen what there is to see from the looks of it. Yep. So let us mosey on. In fact, may as well use that as a way to progress further. These dudes have a little bit of startup before they attack, which we will take advantage of. No idea how to get the coin up there. So can... now. There's gotta be some way. Okay. New mechanic unlocks switches. So it appears that enemies do pursue you once you get in their line of sight. And as per every good platformer, we got vision activated turrets. Ooh, these ones are a little sturdier. Unless you deal damage depending on how far the sword art goes. Ooh. Well, that would have been easy to miss. You see, unlike the very first stage, the secrets here aren't immediately noticeable. I might actually have to smack walls and whatnot, soul style. Okay, we got several layers to explore. Nice that it gives you an indication where you are. So the access will be my bodies I have to save. There's a massive health pickup and a key up there. Good. Run away, friendo. Surprised there's nothing down here. Usually when you have a pixel open like this, it will trail off somewhere. You gotta be careful. My last hit. But saving your bros does restore health as well. Man, isn't it fortunate that I did not decide to smack those spiders in point-blank range? And get punished for it severely. Rightio. Got stuff up here. Ah. Okay. Very nice. Get all that shmoney. Fuck that spider. That spider is a douche. Why would you even need to have two kinds of spiders? One seems sufficient enough. Yo, look at that bird. Look at those eggs it's shitting. Jesus. Some old school Disney-esque shit. Figuratively and literally. Alright, we got many a door. I need to figure out how to open them. There's a switch right there, which I cannot get to yet. There has to be something this way. Oh yeah, I'm a doofus. I forgot you could just drop off ledges. Here we go. Yeah, I have to say for a free game so far, this is pretty damn solid. I think it's all the work of one dude or a very small dev team. And they are working on a sequel to this as well, so if I do end up liking Janosik enough, I will definitely take a peek at Janosik 2 whenever that will come out. That is a massive spiders, the mother of all spiders in fact, and I do not look forward to facing it. Picked up a potion, which I will promptly save for later. No clue whether there are boss fights or not. I imagine there would be. Oh, speaking of. Speak of the devil. Your kin has caused me much anguish. So it's time for payback. The daring highwayman Janosik faces off arachnoids. This very tight, small room. I kinda wish you could control the height of your jump, because as much as I appreciate the range that it covers, in this very compact chamber, it's proving to be detrimental at points. Especially with the way this massive beast skadoodles around the arena. Wait, can I get him into hit stun? It seems that if I keep wailing, he has trouble recovering. Or I can... Weird. Maybe it's the strange clashing sound once you're up at close range, but I was under the impression that you could deflect projectiles. Well, here we go. The hit stun does it. Ah, okay, I see. You do get health bonuses from these pickups. What's good, Dine? Nice to see you, buddy. How have you been faring, my friend? Not a problem, my dude. I understand totally. The war grind can be unforgivable.
Fresh victims for the ever-growing army of the
And thank you for the sub, buddy. I appreciate you sticking around all this time. Whole 15 months accounted for. A skull shape. Seems promising. We got even more spiders. Despite the head poncho of all arachnids. Dead and buried, but also skeletons. But you know what? I'm packing heat. It would appear that this flintlock is only ever so effective in close range. Alright, fair enough. Ooh. I would just serve massive damage. But we got a lot of bracers, so even though the game is kinda tricky at times, it at the very least knows that it can be a little bullshit, so it does throw you some bones. Now, what I would really love to find is a map. That'd be swell. I would also like not to ram into spikes head first. It's not good for your lifespan. Probably not a whole lot of audio tracks, because we had the loop to the theme from the first stage. But there's still some nice musical pieces. I love this very relaxing sounding exploration tune. Ooh. Already we got branching paths, isn't it? Ah, okay. Straight into the treehouse. Smack the walls in case there's some hidden goodies. Are we gonna meet a witch? Because this certainly feels... That's the second time tonight that I've totally called it. Hello, Janosik. Perhaps I have something interesting for you. How do you know my name? I am a witch, and witches know different things. Besides, you're famous. Or rather, infamous. Ha ha ha. You mean, I came to the Count's wife? That's it? What a feat. Ha ha ha. And back to business. I have set my own boots for sale. I'll give them away for 400 coins. Bring the gold, and the boots will be yours. So I'm back for the magic boots. Hope you got 400 coins. You sure do. Thanks to these boots, you'll be able to jump higher. Press the jump button twice. The witch thanks you with a helpful smile, giving you a pair of old, dirty boots. Hey. Now we're really ready to explore. So there is a purpose to collecting shmoney besides your own personal gain. You literally get to buy upgrades. I think it has a cooldown time, however. That I just have to be very specific when I press the follow-up. Yeah. Kind of have to be at the peak of my initial jump before I can follow it up. Alright, let's mosey on down here, see what we got.
Oh God!
Welcome, friend, to my home. My name is Toro. I am a fencing master. What can I do for you? Hello, famous Master Toro. I am Janosik, and I would like to humbly ask you to learn to fight with a sword. Ah, I see you are no strangers to good manners. I would love to teach you a lesson. The first lesson is the agility lesson. It will cost 400 coins. In this lesson, you will learn how to avoid missiles fired at you. So, he will give me an option to parry projectiles. Gotta grind around 80 more coins. Might take a little bit. Or not, if I can find one more chest. Yeah, true. I already pointed out during the spider boss fight that in very compact areas, the jump height, which you can't control, can be counterproductive. So like an inbuilt mechanic preventing you from accidentally mashing jump sounds not too outlandish of a concept. Hey, there we go, just what I needed. Torture chamber. Alright, so we got 3 keys to collect, 5 dudes to save. The exploration commences. Holy smoke! Who are you? Janosik, at your service. Janosik? This Janosik? I am Jan. I'm a prisoner here. Don't hurt me. Jan sighs nervously. A prisoner? Nice prison. And beautiful views. I never heard of a prison like this before. Well, because I'm an inventor. I have privileges because I'm developing a new weapon for Count von Jur. A new weapon for this reptile? What is this weapon? Well, it'll be a quick-firing pistol. But if you want, I can also upgrade your pistols. You know. So you have equal chances when you meet the Count. Leave. Jan, terrified by the boldness of his own words, blocked his mouth with his own hand. Don't be scared because I like what you say. I will gladly accept your offer. Here are my guns. What a beautiful workmanship. First-class work. If I can double their load for the start, it will cost 350 coins. What? 350 coins? Sorry, but even in prison, I need money. But it'll be my loss. 320 coins. I'll give you 300. 300? Okay, I agree. Jan, despite bargaining, seems to be pleased and more confident. Price agreed. Janosik and Jan shake hands. You always meet at the middle ground. First and foremost rule of trade. But methinks I will save for the deflect. Being able to parry projectiles with my melee attack sounds really beneficial in the long run. We got the Torture Masters, who happen to be projectile users with an area of effect kind of spiel. So yeah, case in point, that will be probably good to have against these dudes. Got some tricky platforming, but I am a master. Now that's a deadly combo right here. I just had to slide off a little too much to the right. Alright, dude saved. And we can proceed for a gold key from here. Preemptively dispatch the executioners so they don't give me any grief. Okie doke. Now let me swing by the combat master here. Yes, excellent, my friend. You have made tremendous progress and learned how to roll agile. Now, when the enemies shoot projectiles at you, all you have to do is roll through them. Hey, projectile for my roll. It's actually even better than trying to manually deflect. Friend rescued. I guess I can only carry 4 shots at a time. Unless that inventor dude can increase my capacity. That could be the next upgrade I can save for. I can assure you that most fauna we're witnessing is not native to Central Eastern Europe. Or who knows, maybe Janosik has already slain all of the giant spiders and snakes. It does, and it plays pretty damn well. Like, really getting a feel for this game. It's simple in terms of concept, but the execution so far is pretty tight. Getting a little bit of Prince of Persia vibes from fighting all of these giant snakes. Which look like cobras. I don't think these would be native to the European region. But again, let us not delve too deep into some inconsistencies. Let us not question the artistic vision that the developer had. Plus, I did say at the beginning of the stream that the tale of Janosik was subject to many interpretations, and it's actually debated between historians just how much of a benevolent figure he and his gang were. But it is agreed that there were instances where he and his thugs committed acts of goodwill, like helping a priest who was injured during a traveling caravan. It actually makes sense for this kind of figure to become popular in Poland in particular, because my country's turbulent history and plenty of foreign occupation for a good chunk of recent history. A rebel that fights against the system found pretty fertile ground to become popular. I also admire him being a mountain man. I think that the Gorala and their sovereign equivalents, both in Slovakia and the Czech Republic, are one of the most unique cultural ethnicities inhabiting this region, and I'm glad that Poland also gets its little share. They may not be as widespread as Scotsmen in popular culture, but I do recommend looking it up in your spare time if you want to learn more. Just the neat, colorful, traditional wear is a sight to behold. Okay, I'm gonna have to play it a little risky and get that health recovery from below. Well, maybe not that risky. So, Frosty, how did Forgive Me Father go? Did you beat the game? I know we were kind of struggling with that level in particular, so hopefully all went well. Ooh, understandable. Is it at least a fair fight, or did he wash you in questionable ways? This is gonna be a little rough. Because they really want you to have a feel for the jump arc. This little segment here is pretty much a test of your aptitude with the controls. I kinda wish you could just hop ever so slightly if you tap the button instead of making a full jump. That would have certainly made navigating this particular ascent more manageable. But I will not look past the generous double jump. Nice. I'll probably be able to save enough just to get the pistol upgrade. Alright, so we're pretty much moving on for the silver key, which I reckon will be required to rescue the rest of our lot in the upper areas. I'm actually looking forward to buying and trying out Nightmare Reaper at some point myself. The idea of a roguelike FPS sounds eyebrow-raising at first, but I watched all of these videos on it and it actually looks fun. And there are some pretty insane looking weapon combos you can get. to the point where it makes you wonder whether you're playing an actual game or a mod. By the way, Dine, I recently tuned into Space Adventure Cobra. Currently 4 episodes in, and I gotta tell ya, that show is so typical of the 80s. It's got that time frame written all over it, and I love it. It's dumb fun. And besides it being, you know, lighthearted action, what I really like is some of the character designs. Crystal Boy in particular looks awesome. I miss that 80s, 90s creative era in media where devs would go all out with their designs in order to stand out and be unique. To a point sometimes where it was grating. But, you know, sometimes you get a hit instead of a miss. Okay. This count is a pretty powerful figure if you can afford having lava in his fortress, Bowser style. It's a good thing that the lava doesn't spit out projectiles. So maybe I should use the gun more. That was unfortunate. I was close to the brazier as well, which kind of sucks. Okay, the gun is good. If it can insta-kill regular enemies, then it ain't nothing to sleep on. It's gonna have to swing by the vendor before I leave. Okay, let's see. This is a rather lengthier one. Okay, you see the gimmick. I'm getting creative with the stage hazards, that's for sure. I would have to... Wait a minute, I'm actually right by him. The way I was looking at the map. Blind streamer. Should I get on with upgrading your pistols? It is 300 coins, as we agreed. Yes, sir. Fantastic. I'm on it already. Alright, they're ready now? Here you go. 8 shots, that's what I like to see. Okay, 2 more keys and we can leave. We saved all of our companions, so now it's all a matter of leaving. Any minute now, I'm expecting Gilbert Godfrey to speak through this, not toucan. I didn't really watch any of, like, Gilbert Gottfried's full-length comedy flicks that he starred in, or his, acts. But come on now. I think no one will argue with me that most of us grew up with the animated Aladdin flick. So his loss is very heart-wrenching. Can't tell if this is a full-on Bone Brother, or just a man wearing a skull. But I respect the aesthetic. Oh, you should, Frosty. It's classic Disney. I'm not sure if I watched it for the first time in theaters or on VHS. I know I've been to the movies for The Lion King, which is actually one of the first flicks I've watched in my life. And not only that, I shed some young, growing adult tears. Pretty simple boss, just avoid the skull projectile, the dash in. Don't get too close to the bony boy helpers. Or just put them down immediately so they don't get in the way. Gotcha. Hey. 5 health containers. And now we can leave. Might as well grab some dosh along the way. And recharge my pistol. Can't go over the screen Super Mario style. It would have been a nice reference, for sure. Alright. Level done. Let's carry on. The dungeon? Maybe it's a little tough to tell by the icon. It's coming. You know what? I was trying to point my finger on what specific game the art style alludes to, and I can't help but think of Shovel Knight. Like, this particular color scheme right here just screams that game. Dear boss, I am so lucky to see you. Hello, Kromka. Good to see you too. What happened to you? Now, Kromka, in the Polish language at least, means a bit of bread. Like, if you just nibble a piece of it. I barely escaped from this damn dungeon. The dungeon has been inhabited by a dragon. By the dragon? Seriously? Yes, the water dragon. This beast flooded the dungeon with water and then ate the guards. All in all, thanks to this, I was able to escape. But unfortunately, 3 of us are still stuck in these dungeons. I'm afraid the dragon will eat them. Don't worry, leave it to me. I'll deal with the beast. Maybe you will treat him to a sheep laced with poison, like in the Wawel dragon legend, which is one of the most popular folk tales in Poland. Kind of an origin story pertaining to the old Polish capital of Krakow, where, according to the tale, there was a dragon terrorizing the area, and the king commissioned a bounty on its head, but no one could slay it. But then a shepherd came about and told him that he has an idea on how to slay the beast. So he took one of his sheep, laced it with poison, and the dragon bit into it like an idiot and died. I don't think I even have to fight this big spider. Classic example of a boss turn to a semi-regular enemy, or at least a champion type. But if so, they're far too tanky for me to even bother. So I'd rather just take that damage and be on my way. You, stay down. Okay, can go up there yet. Let's try the sunken pathway first. Oop. Well, at least, unlike a certain blue hedgehog, Janosik can swim. Okay, that's an insta-kill. I don't even graze these lads. Right, so I'm pretty much meant to go through the waterways. Alright, fair enough. I'm gonna grab all the money. So in case I run into any more potential upgrades, we'll just immediately grab them. Oh, oh, close call. So you can't be too slow either. What would be the four horsemen of video game stages, period? What? Underwater? Ice? Sewers? What else? Oh, swamps. There you have it. Out of all the four, which you guys would be considered to be the worst offender? Personally, sewers rubbed me the wrong way. Swamps? Well, if Miyazaki games are any indication to go by, then yeah. Any kind of area that induces poison/toxic status, it can go fuck itself. Oh damn, did you just name drop TMNT? That freaking underwater section with the electrified coral reef, that gave me PTSD as a kid. That game was pretty difficult all out, but damn was it fun. Stop it, Frosty. That's too much for me to handle. I'm gonna get that coronary just from thinking about it. Kinda picked a nasty spot to save first. But pretty much have to do this. Alright. Let's try with 3 cards spare. Okay, and now we gotta make a dash for that health refill. Frickin' spider. Okay, you know what? That was way better on my part. Run away, run away. Excellent. Yeah, there's something particular about hitting an enemy with just a bit of your attack. It doesn't deal all-out damage, from what I see. You gotta be like at pretty much point blank to insta-shot them. Speaking of shooting, may as well. Well, I did get a chance to play an ice level in Alice recently, and it wasn't too bad, but oh boy. Slippery surfaces are not fun. Bats. You gotta have your bats. Staple, enemy design. Next thing you know, Dracula's gonna show his ugly mug and ask me why I haven't been playing the Advanced Collection yet. To which I say, soon, Dracula. You'll have your screen time again. I promise you, buddy. Also, that freaking Pepe, yeah, that is very good, Frosty. Still haven't acquired a map of this area, which is a little strange, but also a good way to bump up the difficulty curve. What would be the first entry chronologically in that collection? Because obviously I want to start them off by release date. Oh, here's the map. Nice. Don't forget about the map. Trying to make they're alive. First and foremost. Wait till the poisonous cloud disperses. Ooh, look at that, there's friendly fire. That's a level of death I did not anticipate to see, but I respect it. I wonder if you could turn it into an actual mechanic later on. Like, say you have a duo boss fight, and you can just kind of bait your enemies to smack each other. Circle of Moons. Alright, we start off with that. And just mosey on as they go. Don't ask me, however, when will the LP start, because I don't even know that myself. The best answer I can provide is soon. Although, it was on my agenda for a while now, so perhaps sooner than later would be a good way of putting it. Hey, look at all those health potions I got. If I run into a particularly aggravating boss, then hey, you bet I'm popping all of these bastards. Okay, so I'm going this winded snake-like pattern just to get the silver key. Then from the silver lock onto the next dude I have to save. I wonder how many stages the game has, period. It's supposedly like 2-3 hours long, as the reviews indicate. Well, depends on your performance and progress, but that's like a rough estimate, so it doesn't overstay its welcome. For sure. Also, today I finally got around watching that YouTube documentary on the Garfield theme park in Kennywood. I didn't even know that Jim Davis had like a massive theme park plan on his own at one point, before they eventually scrapped the idea and rearranged Kennywood to serve their purpose. Also, one interesting thing I took out of that video is people are hella degenerate when it comes to love tunnel rides. I mean, look, I know they're called love tunnels, but maybe you should take your business involving more than a kiss or a hug into the bedroom. Also, imagine fucking while the Garfield animatronic stares you down. That's some eerie ass shit right there. That was a good actually quote pertaining to that, submitted by a viewer. Garfield knows all of our sins. Indeed, the beast watches on. Alright. We pretty much got everything sorted here, so now it's about saving two of our friends in the upper regions. But we do have this massive waterway going all around the map. I think that might be our way to go from here. Brings back good memories of exploring the sunken hallways in Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. That was a great game, period. Ironically, my first modern day Igavania. That's not Castlevania itself. Okay, I need the key to move on there. Well, that's the cutest looking dragon. Well, dragon, but it's more of a hydra. Or a water serpent. I guess we're following the Souls-like definition of dragons. That's actually one of my favorite lore bits about the Souls series, period. The way dragons used to be these majestic, immortal creatures, but eventually, as the world went to shit, they kinda became bastardized versions of themselves. And so we had the Hydra, Drakes, the Gaping Dragon, and what have you not. Okay. I got the key. Oh, I didn't even realize you had to interact with this guy one more time. I thought he was just like vibing here and giving you the quest dump. So that means we got just about everyone rescued. Yeah, look at me spam that dodge roll. Emerald. Oh, he is massive. Nessie looking ass. Regrettably, you cannot attack underwater, so we're just gonna have to nudge him from here. But interestingly, I think I already found a safe spot. If he would just be so kind to come back over here. Which of course he will not. No balls. Oh wait, you can get the cannons to get him. Hey, that's the kind of friendly fire I like. Yeah, this is actually optimal. Got him. Hell yeah. And off we go. The spooky graveyard. You'll get that gold. Okay, this has to be the most robust level yet. Plenty of keys, plenty of dues to save. Got all sorts of stuff going on. Also, this guy. Hey, psst. Want to buy something? A mysterious hooded figure emerges from the shadows. Oh god, Janosik jump up surprised. Who are you? Doesn't matter who I am. But if you're planning on blowing the count's spot, I'll be happy to help. I think you'll like it. I have bombs. Price is 500 coins. Take? Sure thing. Fine. Now listen, stranger. To use bombs first, you need to switch your inventory. To throw a bomb, you do it the same way as if you were shooting. If you want to replenish bombs, you might find them in the barrels with ammunition. Okay. Oh, there we go. So let's give these bombs a try. Alright, just plant them. Oh! Look at that! Huh. Well, that's a cool feature. Oh, you're absolutely right, it does feel like Terraria. Not only because of the obvious pixel art style, but also this very out there perspective and small character models. Also, I guess Stardew Valley as well. Wasn't it made by the same devs as Terraria? What is this now, Super Meat Boy? Well, I think we need Dai in the case, because I think he's been grinding the Stardew Valley as of late, so perhaps he can relate. So I did not mean to waste that potion, actually, so I think I'll start off from the brazier. Never, because it's an Epic exclusive. I think. I'm not sure if it actually made it outside of Epic and the limited time availability. I might be talking out of my ass. Lord knows I did not bother to check. I'm gonna be real with you, however. Every single time a game becomes Epic exclusive, even for a predetermined period of time, I kinda immediately lose interest and just go about my way. Especially with recent Square ports, because those end up terrible. Regrettable, considering I was literally looking forward to playing Stranger of Paradise at some point. Not great reviews. That doesn't surprise me. I mean, technically it's still Team Meat, but without Edmund McMillan helming it, so... they may have lost their touch. The original Super Meat Boy I hold dear in my heart, even though that game absolutely frustrated the living fuck out of me. One of the most aggravating, nerve-wracking gaming experiences, period. Okay, I think I have to go down with this key. Yep, that seems like the proper way of progressing. Ah. Well, well, well. Do I not have bombs? I don't think I do, which is kind of disappointing, but I guess I lost them upon death. Oh, wait a minute, did I not save before I interacted with the merchant? That might be it, actually. I knew I had a little too much gold than I was supposed to. Blah blah blah. Give me the bombs. And now, let's try not to die on all these stage hazards. Good. Okay, that Zumbo kind of sucks. Now, let me place the bomb. Can I just wait until it blows on its own? Or do I have to give it like a good whip? Might have to. Ooh, that was lucky. Let's get on to exploring then. Yeah, plenty of money. And plenty of mobs. But we're on the right track to get the silver key, and that will unlock more of the level. Seems like pretty much the vast majority of my companions are stuck in the upper areas, which seems to be a trend for this levels period. Move downwards to unlock the means of progressing upwards. What I do appreciate about our friend, however, is that he moves very quickly underwater. He does not waste any time, that's for certain. Gotta be strong, agile man if you want to run a highwayman gang. Come on. I was afraid of eating a straight shot. Ooh, that would have been not great, to say the least. Hey, time for another dip in the lava. With a boulder to boot. Because we gotta have that Indiana Jones segment. Short, but give me a good adrenaline rush. What if there's a cap on how many potions you can carry? Because if not, I'm sure as heck bring all of them with me till the end. Nice. Nice of a shortcut. There appear to be wizards of some kind in the upper floors, looking mighty hexen / heretic. What? That was spooky. Hey, some goodies out of it. Ah, so he kind of just latches onto you until you shrug the spooky specter off. I see. Oh. I don't think there was any other way of me going on about that place. But I do see a golden key down there, which I'm gonna have to acquire somehow. So maybe there is an alternate way. Only one way to find out. Go. Ah, okay. You couldn't see the ladder. So that did cause a question mark to appear above my head, figuratively speaking. Okay, now I got what I wanted. Let's run it back. Look at that momentum we can build up. You just spam the roll. It's nutty. Yeah, don't check the map when you're standing in the middle of a running saw blade. Must have sucked being trapped up there all by himself, except for that one spider. Alright. Let's see what these guys are made of. They set themselves on fire when you kill them, which is immediately a red flag. Die out with a bang, one could say. Speaking of bangs, need to deploy bomb. Ooh. If you go melee, they're quite sturdy. No, you don't, friend. I love the fact that the offer went to such length as to even include secrets you can uncover while exploring thoroughly. All packed in a free game, mind you. I'm surprised there's not even a minimal price tag attached to it. Maybe it was a passion project where he wanted to test his skills as a programmer first. But shit, I'd be willing to pay money for this. If there's some kind of price attached to the sequel, I'll definitely throw them some dash. Yeah, I'm gonna pop that one potion just in case. Okay, there's a spoopy ghost right here. Also, you can harm yourself with bombs, which is, well, understandable, but a little annoying. Why did that man carry a gun with himself when if he uses magic? Insurance policy much? How do I get to you? Because I see that heart container and it's like behind a bumpable wall, sadly. Ah, fuck. I thought it would just a little above me. Well, let's link section for sure. This is where all those elixirs may come in handy. Wait for him to turn back. I'm not going to play with these guys, just straight up. Go for the kill. Oh. Nice job, idiot. I'll take it. Sweet. I think it's better if I go downward for now. Seems like I have way more to explore here. Well, I'm gonna have to do it the hard way. Ammo gone. God, if I can get a jump on the cultists. Yeah, I'm gonna call them cultists, because, you know. Manic Spalex. Okay, how do I want to do this? Let's try placing a bomb here and then... Nope. That ain't probably gonna do it. I think I gotta do it from here. Yep. A 100 spoon dually, don't mind if I do. Oh, that's a nasty trap. Stage shadows couple together in a way that's tough to avoid them if you don't know what's happening in advance. One more guy awaits. And it's pretty much all of them. Now, do I don't think I need a key to progress. But I wonder what's that all about? A big heart container. on the tower-like structure in the middle of the map. And I would like to get my hands on it if possible. I think there might be luck behind bombs. Should that be the case, I'm not super compelled to explore it thoroughly. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna have to time this, I see. Invul frames almost save me. Almost. Bad jump scare. Bad, but also bad. You seem kind of in a pickle down there. Fault is up the wazoo. Left and right, quite literally. Yeah, that might require some jumping shenanigans. Do you mind? Sheesh. No chill. That seems like it's far as I can go normally. There's nothing that could boost me even further. Unless there's a way to boost your jump even further, I don't think I can make that. Provided there's not another kind of gimmick they need to do. On to the castle. Got more sturdy enemies. And jump pads. Curiously. So the game is not done throwing new and interesting ideas, spicing up the gameplay. I really gotta remember that I can just roll for those fireballs. Don't need to put myself at risk. First things first, let's go for the map. Alright, what do we got? About the same in terms of complexity. Castle Vonjur, so I take it we're getting close to the finale. This will be the residence of the main man himself. Toy Story looking ass. No, generally that soldier with the spear looked like a nutcracker. What if I go for... Yep. Pistol into sword is an efficient combo. Gotcha. So that opens up the door right below me. Yep, following that same tried and trusted pattern. Go down, then back up. If I bump this, I could technically go back to the water area faster, but, well, this bump's a little iffy. I wish they could explode over time, instead of me having to give them a good angle knock. Skeletons everywhere. I was kind of wondering about the secret areas, but it appears that you get all of the layout right of the get-go on the map. So you just kind of have to guess where the entrance is to a close-up portion of the map. Oh, thank you for that. Fuck you for that. That spider totally blended into the background. That was scummy as all hell. That's this mood swing in history. But no, really, these green spiders are a little iffy with their slight hop. Just gonna go for the health primarily. Don't really need the money anymore. Nice. Heading back to the castle. Hello, Death. The Reaper is definitely unsettling the first time you meet him, but once you figure out you can just shake him off, then it's kind of a cakewalk, really. Okay, how do I go about this now? Leather. How do you avoid all that damage? I'm impressed, but also concerned. There we go. If you can get the jump on them, they stand no chance. Ah, right. Do you want that health boost? That'd be pretty damn swell. Not gonna lie. Bros rescued. This was gonna by much faster than the previous level. I guess it's kind of a build-up to the inevitable final confrontation. Alright. Anything up here of interest? Something up here. Don't know how to get to those objects. Don't want to lose any progress. I mean, it was right by the, dude, but eh. Okay, this smells like boss. You wicked white thief. I'll kill you. You dirty sadist. I'll kill you first. That is some top tier dialogue. And There you go, here's the count.
Yeah.
Ripping a musket, Bloodborne style.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
With a spread shot.
Yeah.
My man taking major hit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He's not really accomplishing much, however. Because I can pretty much roll through everything he does.
Yeah.
Only problem is, damage-wise, I'm not doing too hard against him.
Yeah.
He's pretty tanky. Unless I can get him to be struck by the candelabra somehow. That's the thing you can do.
Yeah.
This is sick invul frames.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Not sure why he has so much health though.
Yeah.
The final boss syndrome? Much?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Ooh. Well, that works.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Somehow all of those miss me at point blank.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come here. Nice work, dummy.
Yeah.
Victory achieved. And onwards we go. We got the key. In front of the castle there is a carriage surrounded by soldiers. Janosik notices Countess von Jura with an unknown nobleman inside. The Countess calls from the carriage. What happened to my husband? Is he alive? Janosik shakes his head no. Janosik has the impression that a cold smile has passed over the Countess's face. So he was killed. Killed by the famous Janosik. Baron, what do you say? The Baron looks at Janosik piercingly and says, You killed a nobleman, a representative of power. Death is waiting for you. The Baron turns to the bold captain of the guard. Captain, capture this outlaw. Yes, sir, my lord Baron. Grom. Polish for thunder. So we're far from done. Not only do we have a boss, but we also have a bunch of underlings he commands. Now, I have an idea, given that they're giving you bombs. But I just need a little space to work with, if you'd be so kind. So the minions will stay all screen. You can't really kill them. Just gotta focus on the captain himself. The frontal bomb stuns him, which is pretty cool. Alright, pistol time. That's why when conserving all those health potions. I like how all the goons immediately jump in as their boss approaches. Now that's a chain of command. Let's go. Sheep. I already freed all my comrades. Should I finish my adventure? Yeah, before they kill you. Sorry I skipped that dialogue, but I was under the impression that I would die if I got stuck there. And thank you too, Janosik. Look at those schmoes. Well, that's fun. You know, for a free game, yeah, I liked it very much. It didn't really have anything that struck me as bad. I mean, the one major complaint that I could think of is no short hop per se, which made some of the platforming a little more aggravating than it may have been otherwise. But other than that, just plain old good 2D side-scrolling. Go give it a try. It's free on Steam. Knock yourselves out. Anywho. Now, while that was a wholesome display of Slavic culture, what I'm about to show you now is much more to the point and vulgar. It's called Franko the Crazy Revenge, a game that I kind of grew up with, the DOS version in particular. The original Amiga, which came out in the year of 1994, is somewhat different from the DOS port, which was later released by an independent group, I believe. This one is, for some reason, censored in parts, which is kind of baffling because even with that, it's still pretty obscene. You'll see that through the dialogues being stripped of the offensive words, but even then you can still tell what they were supposed to mean, so it's a very bizarre editing choice, but well, that's video games for you. However, I do have to issue a warning to you guys. Not because of how obscene the game is, but we got jam alerts. You didn't miss much besides the main character, Franko, and his buddy Alex being jumped by a gang of hoodlums. And they're out for a crazy revenge. Also, I may have practiced this in my spare time. So this was developed by a three-man team back in '94. One dude for the programming itself, one guy for the graphics, and one man behind this awesome soundtrack. And this being Franko's game, of course we're gonna play as Franko. Now, you heard of Final Fight, you heard of Streets of Rage, Double Dragon. Forget all that. That is child's play. This right here is the real shit. These are your 4 buttons to work with. You also got the grapple. The punches, forget they exist. This tatsu and forward kick will keep you alive throughout the game. However, this button on itself, while you should disregard completely, comes into play when the enemies are knocked down. Particularly later in the game, because it is an insta-kill. All the time. It's weird in the sense that you have to be perfectly pixel-lined right about here with the enemy model for it to work. But once it hits, they're dead immediately. Some dudes will avoid your jumping kick, but that's why you have the tatsu. So, a lot of these hoodlums are telling me to go fuck myself. That's roughly what Spadek pierdoło translates to from Polish. Get lost, fucker, pretty much. I'm gonna show you some of the grab follow-ups because each button has a unique follow-up depending what you press. Also, there's some interesting interactions you can do with the knockdown. Particularly if you do it while the model's facing backwards to you. And very rarely when you're about to trigger the OTG right as they're about to get out. That produces some peculiar results, which I'm hoping we'll get to see tonight. But first I have to kinda align myself correctly with this dude. The reason why I'm saying to avoid using the fists, if possible, is because the AI can easily counter you. they don't particularly care. Also, here's our first encounter with the police. Police or maybe militia. The game allegedly takes place during the transformation period in my country, so it could be either. Once we drop the communism state, we went from calling the militia police just as, well, a sign of departing with the past, really. Plus, militia didn't really have good connotations, given that, well, they were armed forces of the government, really. And since they held a position of power themselves, they liked to abuse it, and did not have a good reputation with the common folk. There you go, working that leg as intended. Also, I think it's only proper that with such radical tunes playing, we jam out with them. Yeah, get that pod going. Also, did you just see me slide during the pause screen? Very briefly. Good programming. Random karatekas, because why not? Lady was just leaving her weekly class and had the misfortune of bumping into Franko right on the streets. And this guy right here, this police officer with the helmet, makes me think that this is actually supposed to be the militia, because nowadays you wouldn't really see these kind of bulky metal helmets anymore. Those were meant for raid officers dealing with riots and major public disturbances. I think that could potentially threaten the system they were meant to protect, really. The pistol whipping officers are the ones with the most awkward hitbox for the OTG. I kind of have a lot of trouble aligning myself with them properly. Yeah, work those balls. Also, you can tell this game is from the early 90s because there will be a lot of very basic English, but also Polish. No one really knew how to speak it properly at that time, and translations of media like movies were pretty rough around the edges. Seeing and hearing, say, phonetic pronunciations of foreign actor names, like Gene Hackman instead of Gene Hackman, was not uncommon. I distinctly remember very many, at the time, bad movie translations. For example, Blade Runner was literally just called Biegacz, so runner. I don't even know why they would bother translating. Unique concept to that universe. But, I guess folks at the time just didn't know any better. Now, you might think to yourselves that I'm actually making this look pretty easy. Truth is, as a kid, I struggled with this first level a whole lot and had trouble beating it because I didn't know the optimal strats of playing. But once you figure out the inner workings, it does become sort of kind of cakewalk. The key is to stick to your good buttons, lure the AI enemies to yourself at the proper intervals, and just play it safe. This first stage, I would say, is the most important, in the sense that you want to conserve your lives as much as possible. The bonus stages, once you hit them, are really good for building lost energy and lives, and they're a pretty unique minigame. I'll say that much. You'll have to see it to believe it with your own eyes. Also, one interesting thing to note about this punch, if the copper will let me show it off, it has a backwards hitbox on top of the forward one. Love. Oh no. The militia is teaming up with the goons and the karatekas. They're all out for blood. My blood. Whenever you're downed, don't bother fighting back. Just move away. Otherwise, you run the risk of being stun locked and beaten into submission. If you time the grab animation right, it can be a pretty good move, especially if you're in trouble OTGing the enemies. But you can get easily knocked out of it, so you may want to be careful about it. One of the key differences between the DOS version and the Amiga one is, while these visuals still obviously look a little rough around the edges, they're significantly better than the Amiga ones. Also, if I was actually playing the Amiga version, the original, the loading times would be atrocious. Other than that, like I said, backgrounds were changed. There was some bizarre censorship decisions, which it's still weird because there's one particular moment where I'll really have to censor it live on stream because Twitch, with all of its weird policies, might take it the wrong way. I'm talking about implied nudity, which, given this art style, is kinda hilarious. But, you know, we're talking about a platform where being a booby streamer, not a bathtub, is all fine and dandy, but a sliver of pixelated cleavage is a no-no. The good old American Puritist mentality that nowadays has nothing to do with religion. God, I love that backwards hitbox. Whoa, straight into this bald man's embrace. Now, I wonder if I can time the OTG just about right as he's standing up. I really want to see that glitch again happen. In terms of accuracy, obviously the game is a little bit off the rails with how extreme everything is portrayed, but this would not be far from a typical Polish neighborhood, especially in the 90s, where we were just getting out of the communist era. So you would see a lot of those post-Soviet era gray blocks, which I still vividly remember to this day. They were never great looking, primarily built with practicality in mind and just providing accommodation for as many people as possible. Thankfully in Poland it didn't go to such extreme lengths as in Russia, where for instance you had shared bathrooms and kitchens in the apartment complexes. But yeah, at one point, at least in my city, the local government decided that we gotta do something about this hideous old architecture. So they would commission contractors to work on the facades, apply some nice looking coat of paint. A little on the fruity side, but I'll take that over boring gray. Oh, there you go. There it is. You see that misaligned animation? Still got the kill though. Once it rolls out, there's no escape. With the side swap too. Oh, beautiful. A little more and we should be coming up to the first boss. And bosses are interesting encounters, I'll say this much. Now, that's a poem. One of the biggest chains of supermarkets and convenience stores, especially back in the day. Dziś mięso, today meat. A sentiment from communist times where meat shortages weren't as unlikely as you think. To this day, my parents still vividly remember when they were issued ration cards. See that guy in the background? We're gonna meet him a little later into the game. Right now he's just vibing in front of the store, probably waiting for his dose of meat. The Schmeat. New enemy type, which is just a recolor of, I would say 4 to 5 basic enemy types. The difference is, well, just the sprite work and more health. Good old kiosks, where you would get your basic necessities like smokes. Fortunately, these lads are kind enough to wait for me to OTG their companions. Now, gotta be a little more careful because I'm on my last life here. But we should be coming up to the main event of this level soon enough. As you can see, AI behavior isn't particularly sophisticated. They will just try to align themselves on the same plane as you and attack when possible. Just a little more. There's only 3 levels in the game period, but they're a little on the lightning side. So an average run of this game can take about an hour, I would say. Depends if you know what you're doing. Right now I'm just trying to be safe so I can take down the boss with ease. Let's go. Straight into his embrace. shit. It's all about timing. I'm gonna be a little more, shall we say, creative with my moves as we go on, but I'm gonna have to build up my lives first. This enemy type will pretty much always dodge your Bruce Lee flying kick, but that's where Tatsu reigns supreme. Oof. Steve Austin here showing me who's boss. Tatsu is pretty much the way to go when you have 3 enemies on screen, which is like pretty much the max you'll face at a time. They'll never give you more. Come on, buddy. Look at all this carnage, this bloodshed. Streets of Poland much. Alright, here we go. Hej śmieciu, kto ci pozwolił deptać po moim chodniku? Yo trash, who let you walk on my sidewalk? Sram na twój chodnik i na ciebie. I shit on your sidewalk and on you. Zaraz twój mózg znajdzie się na tym chodniku, dupku. In a moment, your brain will find itself on this sidewalk, asshole. Wyskocz, brudasie. Come on, shithead. He is a tall lad. One piece tier high. So, interestingly, with the bosses, it's the only time you get a down attack in the game period. You don't have it by default. And that's your way to deal with them. Or the Tatsu. I prefer the Tatsu because it seems to deal more damage. The fights boil down to, you wait for this guy to walk up to you, idle, punish. Like so. That's it. That's the threat. Preferably don't get hit. But that depends on the AI behavior a little bit. Like so. If you do an attack when they're not aligned, they'll likely retreat and correct their positioning. You gotta wait for the perfect moment when he's idling in front of you. Or taunting. He's shouting Moja Głowa all the time, which means my head. But in the context of this fight, I don't know what's this guy's problem. Well, his head is fucked. That's probably what it is, but... Oh, he gave me the Fugo slap. Come on, buddy. Just a few more times and you should be gone. Each boss has a little more health compared to the previous one. This guy takes the least amount of hits. But still, quite a few. This Frosty is Streets of Poland. Our take on the 2D side-scrolling beat-em-ups. It is extremely Polish, as you'll get to see, especially in the second level. It also has great AI behavior. As I tried to wait for this dude to stand in an idle stance right next to me so I can punish him. Any day now. Oof. Got me with a clap again. Come on. Got him. And now, in a postal-like moment, we assert dominance. Okay, you thought that was peak gameplay. You haven't seen anything yet. This is the bonus stage. We are currently inside of a Fiat 126p, licensed by the Italian car manufacturer on Polish territory. This vehicle was extremely popular back in the day because of a compact size and affordability, but by God was it small. 2 people could barely fit inside. But they were still quite common, even when I was in high school. It wasn't until later they were phasing them out. So in a kind of Carmageddon-esque fashion, you're running over people to gain back health and lives. You avoid the innocents and smack the thugs. Optimal strat? Just carefully etch on in the middle of the screen, like so. And wait for the opportunity to present itself. Sometimes you just have to even wait for these guys to walk into your car's hitbox. That is also efficient. But yeah, great way to rebuild energy, lives. My RNG is kinda shitty at the moment because I'm getting more civilians than thugs. I would like to have at least 4 lives before we go. There we go, that's better. Look at them explode in the pure Gibbs. Oh, hang on. My PC froze for a moment. I was a little concerned. Come on, can we get 5 lives? That'd be radical. That would pretty much set me for the remainder of the game, I would say. Yeah. Perfect. Can we get a 6? Can we get a whole ass 6? Yes, we can. It's an extremely generous minigame. Yellow, welcome to stage number 2. This is the bit where we're gonna have a part I'm gonna have to censor. So here comes this Adolf Hitler wannabe with a very small head. Świat hamburgera. World of burger. You guys want me to grab anything for you? As the military is on my case now. Yeah, work that leg. Just for you, Frosty, I had to show that off. The delayed OTG animation. It never gets old. Never. Now I can afford to be a little more generous with the moves. Mix things up a little bit. But still. Jump kicks. Tatsu. OTG. Optimal playstyle. Well, someone's gonna have a shitty day cleaning up all these bodies. Also, putting Poison and Roxy to shame, here comes the female enemy of the game. However, Franko being a very progressive man is not unwilling to, you know, refrain from punching women. Giving them a little bit of, you know, free plastic surgery on the house. So often he will say spoko, which means okay, essentially. Polish slang. Hey, convenience store. Uzbeka. Sucks front. You tell me what that's supposed to mean. The blue-haired punk says chodź, which means come on. Unfortunately, many of these voice lines are so digitized to the point where I can't make out shit through the muffled audio. So you'll have to excuse me as I do my best at times to try and decipher what on earth is going on. And speaking of, what the hell happened there? Gotta love that backwards hitbox on the punch. I think they designed that as a panic button when you're flanked by dudes. But in practical terms, you're just better off sidestepping. Yo, we got Jinsei! Like I said, that early 90s era when English was just becoming a thing, and phonetic pronunciation was nothing uncommon. So yeah, if you put D plus that Z with a dot, that's a J sound. So by itself, the Z with a dot is R. So for instance, when you have the Polish bison, and you see its name written with a dot, you pronounce that as Rubber. Welcome with a K, like it's Mortal Kombat. Mirage really showing off their budget. Great hitboxes. So for the Amiga, which is the platform on which Franko originally came out, and the devs themselves didn't have anything to do with the DOS port, they also made another side-scroller called Domen the Barbarian. You can kind of tell what the influence was. Now, here comes the bit where I'm gonna have to apply a little bit of that stream magic, so do give me a minute. It's gonna be a little wonky, believe me, but again, I don't want to get in trouble with Twitch. If possible. We're gonna have to make the most out of this. Yeah, you say what's going on a little to the left here? That's a no-no. Very telling of the time. You might be thinking that I'm being a little bit paranoid here. But trust me, we're talking about Twitch, where vaguely sexually sounding ASMR, that's perfectly acceptable if you're a girl. But a little bit of that pixel booba? Naked blow-up dolls. As best as you could render them in MS Paint. This isn't on the Amiga version, by the way. They added this background in the DOS port. Which is still weird because they censored the fucking dialogue. What gives? Also on the right there, you have ABBA written in blue. Because, you know, ABBA was big in the 90s. Thank you, Base Poland Ball, for saving the stream. Alright. We're out of the Wild West. Porno. I like how this is the game that's garnering the most views currently on the stream. Not the well-polished, very wholesome and cute Janosik game, but peak Poland. Now here comes the best bit. We have vodka. Okay, vodka. That's a convenience store. Sklep Nocny is basically a convenience store that operates till late. So that's where you get your alcohol stash for. I don't know if I told the story that my dad has passed on to me and my brother of when he and my late grandfather worked together at the power plant in our home city. And mind you, both used to be heavy drinkers in their prime. My dad in particular was mostly into beers. So one day he comes into work absolutely of a binge. Like the hangover is just killing him. So my grandfather looks at him and says, "See, you wouldn't be feeling like shit if you drank some vodka instead last night." And you know what? Based on my personal experiences, I 100% agree with the man. An announcement board. Ogłoszenie basically means announcement notices. Shit rules. Yeah, I agree. This shit rules. Yeah, that man on the left is just Frosty trying to figure out how in the hell he found himself back in 90s Poland. I swear to God, this one particular police officer, well, more leaning to militia because of the helmet, like riot force gear. He has the most awkward hitbox for OTG purposes. He knows the threats. He knows how to counter my efforts. Oh shit, there's more of him. Easily the most fearsome enemy in the game period. Hey, got him. I guess you have to be closer to the helmet, if anything. Also missed the grab. There's actually two playbook characters, Franko, which I'm currently controlling, and his friend Alex. Now, interestingly, in the Amiga version, you can still play as both, but according to the story in that game, Alex gets killed by the main baddie. So it's kind of a weird KOF dream scenario. I can't say for certain. It's definitely down, plus the kick button. I just think this particular model has a hitbox quirk, where you have to be in a different spot. How accurate is it? Well, obviously, it is heavily parodied and observed through a magnifying glass, but the general feel and the aesthetics, yeah, I would say they're spot on. Thankfully, we don't fight each other like this on the regular on the streets. But I do remember growing up that going along at nighttime was not a particularly good idea, especially in a neighborhood you did not know. Also, if you thought the first stage boss was an oddball, wait till you'll see who we square off with to close off stage number 2. He's a character, I'll say that much. It's hard to make it out, but occasionally they'll spurt out stop. Well, as you expect from law enforcement. At this point they just should probably shoot me on sight. But they definitely are applying militia pacifying procedures. You can kind of get them with a hit stun if to get under your elbow, but it's not 100% reliable. Dude, that's the exact same thing Dino said when he was streaming the Amiga version of the game. He just couldn't wrap his head around the idea. Would I stream the Amiga version? I don't know, I'd be willing to do an Amiga themed stream, period. Just revisit some of my childhood favorites. But you know, having the DOS version of Franko under my belt, I would not be opposed to check out the Amiga version, which you'd be surprised but I never played. It never really made its way to my household. If you could mash punch consistently, you could get them in a solid loop, but, well, there's a bit of delay when pressing buttons. Even with this being the supposedly superior rendition of Franko. So I'm not gonna try and toy with these guys any further. Just to save some juice for the boss, which should be coming up quite soon, I think. So we'll just cheese it with the old spinneroo. Maybe land an OTG, O2, if I can land it. One down. Oh shit. This one had a stick, but it was not enough. Alright, here we go. Pirate Soft. Oh well, Pirate Soft. Co się tak kurwa gapisz? What the fuck are you looking at? Po to mam oczy. That's what I have eyes for. No to nie widzisz, że jest zamknięte? Don't you see it's closed? Gówno mnie to obchodzi, nie kupuję u piratów. I don't give a fuck. I don't buy from pirates. Zaraz mogę ci zniszczyć za tę obrazę. In a moment, I can fuck you up for that insult. Tylko spróbuj, pierdoło. Just try, fuckhead. His taunt is wąchaj, which translates to smell it. And a bit of fuck you every now and then. So, like with the previous dude, we played a waiting game. This one doesn't have as striking as an idle animation as the first boss. So you just kind of have to wait for that brief moment when he stands still and let the punish. He kinda does. Hey. He kind of vaguely does look like the teacher from Beavis and Butthead. You know, the hippie guy? Also, we do have the sweep, but I just don't find it as efficient as the good old Tatsu. I think the reason why the devs decided to only give you a sweep during the boss fights is they thought it would be too abusive during the regular fights. But it's just so awkward in the long run. Then again, I guess it's just because you can't really OTG the bosses. So they give you another button to substitute it. Maybe that was the thought process. When he taunts, just spam the move. If he doesn't do a grapple that knocks you down, punish. Applicable for all the boss encounters. So yeah, it's tankier confrontation, but kind of a joke. Assuming you know the strats, of course. If you were a stupid kid like me playing this back in the day, and you had no idea about the intricacies of Franko, you'd be getting your ass blasted. This is still such a weird encounter from like a conceptual standpoint, because why are we even picking a fight with this guy? Besides being an asshole, which, to be fair, Franko kinda is. He does have reason to be salty, but maybe not to the point of picking fights with strangers. Although, I suppose it's commendable of him to fronting the anti-piracy movement. I have played this as a teenager. I believe at one point they included a full version of the DOS port on a CD to a magazine I was subscribed. There is no pin option. Your button is completely replaced by the sweep, so no OTGs. Oh shit. Got the wrestling schmoves. Another reason why I prefer the Tatsu as opposed to the sweep is with that larger knockback, it's easier to reset him to a desirable position. Gives you a little bit of time to prepare yourself for the next hit. Well, unlike that time. Oh snap. Back broken. And now, back to Carmageddon. Watch out for the moms. But these Hokuto no Ken rejects are perfectly fine to run over. Well, I guess Death Stranding 2 is not happening anymore. Also, you're perfectly allowed to run over this gentleman, blatantly telling you to fuck yourself, in plain English. Case in point. Hello, Mr. Washington. Oh no, I just killed one of the founding fathers. Jesus. I like the little whoosh they make upon death. This little bad boy, which we affectionately would call Maluch in Polish, which loosely translates to little one, little guy. It wasn't really capable of building up much speed. Primarily due to the engine size. But back in the day when there weren't many vehicle options, that was your way to get around. Oh, that punk got lucky. Should be able to get back to 6 lives easily. On yesterday's... Or was it the day before yesterday that I played this? I think it was the day before yesterday. I made it as far as stocking up 9 lives, which is more than enough. More gems. Oh shit, it's John Cena with actual hair. It is. The Amiga sound chip was ridiculously good in processing audio. You could really do a lot. I will always bring the Stage 1 theme of Savage as a prime example of peak Amiga music. It goes to extreme lengths, just like with how that one dude that used to compose for SNES games. I forget his name, but he's responsible for Pluck, Silver Surfer. That man was a audio magician. Don't mind me just slaying some Chuck Norris movie stand-ins. And more Fist of the North Star rejects. Dupa is blada. That is essentially a very vague Polish saying. Kinda like, for fuck's sake, essentially. It doesn't really mean anything specific. Also, Seth Rollins here, rolling out. Dude, me too. Either that or just put up Walker Texas Ranger. And you're in for a good time. Suchy was here, written phonetically. Jutro będzie koniec świata. Tomorrow is the end of the world. Prójmy razem, I'm not sure what that alludes to. It might be some old slang that I'm blacking out on at the moment. Oh dude, I'd love to see that. Intel outside. Rap? Okay, that text right there, Legia chuje, that is prime Polish hooligan culture. Legia Warszawa is like a prominent football club in Poland. And chuje, which is misspelled here because there should be a C before H. Basically this means that Legia fans are dicks. Amiga is the best, fuck the rest. Which is exactly why we're playing this on DOS. Remember that dude from the first stage? He's back. Asking me to come and play with him. Which does not help the case that he's sort of a streaker. Once he flashes that code. Shit, I'm getting karate'd. I don't know if there are specific AI quirks pertaining to enemies, but these karate dudes seem to be particularly immune to being grabbed. Or at the very least, they're good at denying me the opportunity. Oh shit, it's Streaker Street down here. Now we can play one-on-one. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go, indeed. The Seth Rollins dude is exclaiming "Połamię cię." That means I'll break you. Gentlemen, please line up. You don't really get many enemies this late in the game that the regular frontal kick will work on. So Tatsu saves the day. Also, I don't know what the hell is going on with the guy in the background, but he looks like an SCP, and it's unsettling. Sometimes the Tatsu will not connect if they're a little too far away from the active hitbox. Oh shit. He knows the low C. Hey, remember this guy? Back from level 1? Not very menacing at this point. Quite a few recurring enemies, actually. Mixed up between the newcomers. Oh shit. The headbutt. It's okay. I got the strats. This little guy is getting in my case. He needs to be dispatched immediately. Can you land a grab? Nope. Denied. Damn, this guy is countering me left and right. What gives? Could the AI be learning? Come now. Don't be like that. Can't even OTG him for some reason. It's being awfully resilient. There we go. Well, here we go. Final showdown. With Klocek, the main villain. Zostaw tego małolata, kolego. Leave that teen alone, you cripple. There's no sugarcoating it. He's basically telling him he's a cripple. Mówiłeś coś psie chodzie? Chyba nie wiesz, kim jestem, człowieku. Did you say something Dutch shit? I don't think you realize who I am. Wabisz się, Klocek. Zaraz zbiję ci łeb. Your name is Klocek. In a moment I'll crack your skull. So, an interesting thing to note. Normally, when you say your name is, you would say nazywasz się in Polish. However, he is using the term wabisz się, which would be used towards an animal, like a dog. So he's basically belittling him. Tego za wiele śniegu. That's too much, puppy. Chodź, Svelu. Come on. And that's a derogatory term towards gay people, which I'm not gonna try and translate. Because I value my Twitch account. Well, guys, you know the rules, and so do I. Back to this. This dude is just straight up a Bucky character. Fuck him around the height, but not in cutscenes. I've got 3 whole lives, which is more than enough. We're gonna have to Tatsu our friend Classic here quite a bit. But I got the energy for it and the life reserves. Please don't knock me down. That is very rude of you. Lands a few slaps, refuses to elaborate, leaves. The catchphrase in this fight is Dorvecie. I'll get you. Spoken like a true cartoon villain. Meanwhile, Franko here is all like, how long are you gonna make me wait, asshole? You're gonna eat a few stray hits one way or another. But so long as he doesn't get you, like, in a consistent loop, then you're set. There we go. Got a nice repeating pattern going on. Except that time. We're gonna need a few more roundhouse kicks. You know when it's over when a special cutscene triggers during the fight. Also, if that kid is not dead yet, he is now, coated in all that blood. Look at this strut. The man knows how to carry himself. Walking like he's about to shit himself. Or like he just won $1 million from the lottery. Any minute now. Just a few more hits. Zmęczyłeś mnie, ćwoku. Muszę chwilę odpocząć, potem rozerwę ci dupę. You tire me, asshole. I need to rest, but then I'll fuck you up. O kurwa! Oh shit! That's not it, to blow. What gives it hurt? To ja, Franko, ty ćwoku. It's me, Franko, you asshole. And then Alex is like, oh sorry, maybe we could go grab some soda together. Basically implying that they're gonna drink some heavier stuff instead. And that's it. Congratulations, and your reward? Another great beat. You heard the man, folks. Bring that beat back. Bring it back. You know what? One pug is no longer enough. We need more. We need all the pugs we can get. Hell yeah. Now that's a party. And now, the high score, which somehow that Shinto guy was better than me. And that's Franko for the Crazy Revenge. We also have Alex available to us. The other guy. In case you want to play as 2 players, which you could do, totally. He has more or less the same moveset, except instead of a lousy kick, he gets a Johnny Cage style in the Nuts Punch, which has way more range than that stubby little pathetic kick. But besides that, he plays the exact same. So, there you have it. There was a little bit of Poland for you, boys and gals. So yeah, now you're set to travel to my home country and communicate with the locals. You learned all the essential of the Polish language. Don't quote me on that. Anywho, thank you all for coming to this little diversion. There might be more in the same vein, depending on what I can find. Who knows? Maybe I will do an Amiga revisit. That also had some Polish games. Not necessarily ones that I played, but ones that I at least heard of before. So we'll just see what the future brings to us. In the meantime, look forward to more Doom and other of my ongoing playthroughs. Yep. Take care and see you all probably sometime in the weekend, I think. We'll see. All depends on my schedule. Good night, you all, and take it easy.